Hey, so I know that there's a lot of people that have been watching me sing songs and they might be a little bit curious about some of these keyboards. So I want to kind of give some examples about what it is we actually have here. Um, this is the Yamaha. This is the Chord Cross. This is the Roland V Synth with the vocoder, and this is the Chord Vocoder S. Now, this microphone this whole time has been going into here, and this microphone goes through the Roland with the vocoder also and comes out of here, and I've been singing with the songs coming from this Sony voice recorder out of this speaker and this speaker. Now, all of these other speakers are technically used for creating my own song. Yeah, like some future where I want to use individual instruments and then I want to save it and then do another instrument and then save it on a different Sony voice recorder and then use another instrument, meaning all of these keyboards have, for instance, this one has like 700 different instruments. This one also has like 500 different instruments. This one has the vocoder, and also it has its regular use, but I use it so much for its vocoder that I don't use it for much else. And this one has a mixing capability and reverb. So I don't use the vocoder on this because it technically is not very good. But the concept is always, well, I like singing, and if I were to write my own song, I technically have the responsibility to make background music. Now, it's really helpful to have the vocoder just because it's got some, if you're listening to a song on the radio and it sounds like they're in a really expensive studio, you just go there and you imagine, rather than the truth. You never really know if they're really ever in a studio, but you certainly like to believe it. And that's what's important. You hear what you want to hear, not the truth. And the truth might actually be a vocoder. And everybody is saying, but you're on a speaker. Yes, and it is a good one. It technically has a particular synthesized sound versus this. So it technically has to be run through electricity, and this is technically an isolated vocoder. But Japan decided that they wanted to take it one step further and give away a very, very, very important invention, which is this cartridge. Now, when I first got this Roland V Synth, it came with a cartridge that wasn't this one, it's the DD40. And I was like, what is this? So I looked it up online, but it's the D50. And I guess it said online that it recreates this keyboard that Roland came out with in the 80s and changes the mainframe to where even all the keys play as if it was a different keyboard rather than the keyboard that it is. So you got a more electronic sound that was popularized in the 80s. A flagship model was called the DB50. So I also saw when I looked that up that they only came out with one other cartridge a few years after that, and it was the V card, Vocal Designer card. Now, once this goes into the Roland V Synth, just like what I talked about where that changes the mainframe, this also changes the mainframe, except all the keys create a vocoder that's either low, medium, or high. So, but you have to hold a key down. Hello, how you doing? And there's 64 different options. It's really, really quick. Each option, after you're ready, you can change, like for instance, natural voice, chorus, and reverb, and level. There's dials you can put your finger on and move it. Now this is also sold with a vocoder automatically, but you got to pay a lot more. This one was like $1,300. The vocoder card I ordered on eBay was the last one in the whole world. It was sold out of Japan, and it was $600. And the sweet Asian guy that sent it even sent a box of cereal that was about this big that was all in Asian and a flower. And This is the box that he sent it with. And literally, you got to know there was only one available. It was brand new. It still had the saran wrapping around it. Now, one of the things that you're going to find interesting is the booklet that comes with it. So it's this thick. It's like, what could possibly be in there? I know. That's what I said. So you have pages and pages and pages of things that I don't know what it says, but it is just a cartridge. And it still has all of these instructions. And I have no idea why. That's a lot of pages. I mean, so it really puts it in perspective of being there in some building in Japan where their only care in the whole world was to make something special. Now, before I ended up ordering it, one thing crossed my mind immediately when I heard that there was another cartridge that said vocoder. I'm like, what's a vocoder? And then I read more and it said, it'll wrap a choir around your voice. And I go like wait, during? Has to, like while I sing? It doesn't have to think? Doesn't have to process? Like how? How does it know instantaneously? There's different options too. There's hello, hello, hello. Hey, hey, hey. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello. How's it going? How you doing? You can turn up natural voice. Hello, hello, hello. How you doing? Hello, hello. How you doing? Doing all right? Turn it up louder too. Hello, hello, hello. How's it going? How you doing? See, instantaneous. You got to take into consideration how. No processing speed, just like that because you say so, like that. Another idea about things that are instantaneous and really why you should go out and invest in keyboards is because of hidden items. So like the chord cross, for instance, has there's like 12 different instruments sections, and then there's like 100 for each of those. And then in each of those, so like for instance, it's an electric keyboard, right? But if you press one button, arpeggiator, they just give that away for free. And then there's a second button called drum track. And then that's just 1 out of 100. Now, if there's 12 subtitles or 12 sections and then 100 each, that's 1,200 different possibilities for an arpeggiator that all are different and a drum track that all are different. So 2,400 different 4 to 5 instruments each that someone thought of as a constant rhythm. And it's got a tempo change and a reverb. So if I were to do arpeggiator, now it's interesting because they hid it in there. There's no like screen that says this is the arpeggiator section and then rhythms 1 through 2400. You only find out when you get it. That's weird to me. So it's almost like they're scared of something, you know. It's something to take into consideration. And I also think that there's something interesting about, in my living room, there's my laptop, and there's this DaVinci Resolve 17 graphics program that I purchased. And, well, you can almost get lost in it if you listen to Casey Ferris, which is a YouTuber, and he'll explain how to use it because he'll take you into Fusion more times than anyone else. And he'll start making little boxes and then do a line and then a box and a line, and he'll make you be able to change the coloring of a live video. And I watched all of them, except then I had it and I needed to use it, and I had a problem trying to add a simple graphic effect. Like you can download graphic effects and transition effects. So trying to drag and drop it, it wasn't working. I don't know why. It was showing that it was there, but it didn't change my video. And there's this really important thing that I'm sure I'm not the only one that figures out in a roundabout way. But you press this button that's not in the Fusion area, it's in the edit area, and it says inspector. And the inspector on that is the same thing as the arpeggiator here. Press that and 15 items drop down in a box. And you just press one and it changes your entire video into different color schemes. I mean, radical different, like, whoa. And you do another one, it's like acid, like, whoa. You got some with like beautiful lens flares coming out this side. It's like if you were to take a Monet painting of modern day, a guy that designed something so when it saw this color, it interpreted as that color. If it saw light, it interpreted as this. And then you put that Monet painting over the top of your live feed. He said so, and so it happened. You got 15 of them. You don't need to go into Fusion, and you don't even know anything that Casey Ferris tells you. And that's an example of something hidden in just you wanting your child or yourself to be better someday, maybe not today. And as a surprise for everybody, I wanted to put something in conception. Now, this is if you wanted to invest in your child or yourself and you wanted to be famous. Why is the best brunette singer in the world named Kate Vogel? Vogel. So you saw the booklet, right? You saw how that didn't exist until I showed it to you, right? Wasn't anywhere in the world. Nobody would ever make careless writing for no reason. And then it was suddenly there. It was invisible and then it was visible. So you know that you know nothing. So if you know that you know nothing, then what if Kate Vogel is a part of an invisible community that was hand-selected because of a vocal designing artificial intelligence software program that when you write lyrics and make your typical lyrics, you decided it, you brought it, you thought it up, you put it on paper and then scanned it and it went in. What if they have a musical inspector, a musical arpeggiator that gives you 15 options? Your average song is 3.5 minutes. So you say you have 15 options of fast and fun, or sad and sorry, or hard and mean. And then it gives you an artificial intelligence female voice that flies and swoops and does that thing with her throat that sounds so good, vibrato, and gives an interpretation because they made it to where it's obvious that it's possible. And then on my laptop, they made it because it's obviously it's possible. Take the Monet concept and you add it to all 150 singers that you know and I know that are what's called famous musicians, famous vocalists, your favorite, my favorite, Christina Aguilera, Crystal English, handpicked by the CEO of the Asian design of music to be one of the chosen few to represent an AI software program that is found in Japan. They come, they sit, they listen to 12 songs, they go, wow. They have maybe a composer, meaning you got the CEO who hires a composer, which is someone that you can get along with really well, you feel comfortable with. Then when they're listening to it only in their ear, they improvise on top of that. They just needed that to go like this, to lean on. And it's best that way. Because sometimes when you're listening to Kate Vogel, you get the feeling like she is the most confident, self-secured singer known to mankind. Why else would you assume such confidence unless there was an artificial, intelligent presentation and then she just goes like, she already can do it identical and still be famous because the AI is perfect. But she decides, I don't know, I feel challenged. But if you already are sitting on a diamond, the only thing that you lose is always polishing. You got the name, you got the certificate that says we're going to make you famous. They're not testing you, you're chosen. The only thing you can do is polish a diamond, and so she does. What if Christina Aguilera was just polishing a diamond? And she sounds good. She goes, no, I got this. Think of any singer that sings really, really well and imagine that they went behind the curtain and were personally selected to listen to AI fully developed songs and then flap their wings and soar and feel good because they're money even if they don't. But you want to show off. And what if the final version is knowing, God, they're so showing off. And you want to meet them because guess who they know? The wealthiest person in the whole world. You're famous by company. You're exhilarated. You're like, you listen to the radio, you're just like, God, that sounds so good. And it does. And she knows or he knows someone really, really, really famous. It's something to think about when you want to be there when that software program is available, just like the DaVinci Resolve 17 and just like these arpeggiators and just like the vocoder. The only thing left is you really like your lyrics, you love your look, you like yourself on the inside and out, you have great style, and you just have a hard time layering. And what if there is a software program that you just have to be patient for, and then it suddenly shows up? Now, if you get it and you have keyboards to go along with it and it sends you a really amazing, I mean, you gotta be hand selected, but you wanna be good for it, you wanna be ready for it. And if you are, maybe it's a software program that ends up on your Plasma Smart TV as an app, you send it on through and then you get 15 inspector selections, but you wanna definitely be able to take their beginning offer and then add this. But man, you got something that isn't constant, like it always just goes in a circle. But an inspector for music will do it as if it's a finished song. It's got the chorus and everything else, the highs, the lows. It knows that ahead of time. But if it has all the highs and lows and you want to tweak it, that's when a nice round 4 to 12 second constant interval would just be exactly the sweetener that you want. So these are all 1/1000th of what they will cost, but believe in genies because they've shown that they are real. If there is someone at your door saying otherwise, you are the nearest and the closest. But when your door is closed, if you manage to make heaven on earth and someone that doesn't exist knows that your heaven on earth knows that you're an angel, isn't that all that matters? Someday maybe the bad guys will go away. But you want to make sure that you've made the 1/1000th purchases before that so that you can just suddenly overnight be famous.